Hello you fantastic people and welcome back to another Borderlands 3 video. Hope you guys are all doing well. In this one we're going to cover the Redline buff in the hotfix that came out on Thursday. There's a ton of buffed weapons as well as grenades, and I've already covered one of them so far, the Skull Masher, which you should check out as well if you haven't already. But this Redline is kind of amazing. It's now to the point where it may be better at bare minimum up to the same levels OP as the Bangstick with flak, which is absolutely disgusting. It's also amazing on Moes. I don't know if it ever stopped being amazing, but let's just say it's at least up there with one of the best weapons in the game again, with at least flak and Moes as of the hotfix on Thursday, which is awesome because we love having variety of weapons that do a ton of damage in Mayhem 10. Now the Redline is back up there again. This thing, I'm going to show you guys where to get it from, what varieties you can get, the best ones to look out for. The build, I'm going to refer you to the best build for it, as well as show gameplay of different bosses and situations that you can absolutely wreck all the things with this Redline. Starting off with how to get the Redline, it is in the base game of Borderlands 3, so you don't need any DLC. First go to Pandora, then the Splinterlands. You'll find a rare enemy in there called Road Dog. About halfway up on the map is in a little bandit camp there. It used to be a rare spawn enemy, but now it spawns every single time. Just make sure you have hot fixes applied when you start up the game, and he'll spawn every time for you. That'll save you a ton of time. He has 3 dedicated drops as of the moment. He has the Redline, the Hellwalker, and an artifact, which unfortunately means he's a little bit scummy on the drops. Particularly you notice it because he doesn't have many world drops that drop at the same time, so you're kind of only ever farming this guy for his dedicated drops. And the Redline and the Hellwalker, being 2 amazing weapons now, seem to be a really low drop rate. Now that's kind of fine for the Hellwalker because it drops in the world drop system very frequently, but the Redline only drops from Road Dog in the Splinterlands. It's not in the world drop system, so you are going to have to put in some time to farm for this thing. But if, for example, you guys are trying to deck out a flak Bangstick build, the purple Bangstick is way harder to find, whereas the Redline is pretty much on the same par, maybe even better if you find a god roll, and now has a dedicated drop spot to actually farm for, which is awesome. Now this thing does come in every elemental type, including non-elemental, and can come with ×3 and ×4 pellets. Correct me if there's any other ones, but they're the ones that I know of. Now usually the Redline wasn't that good for flak because it was lacking on pellets, so you couldn't get bullets back into the magazine to keep firing like you can the Bangstick. That's kind of the main thing about it. You can stack so many pellets on top of each other and then they'll just explode at once. Now the Redline has so much extra damage now you don't actually need to get all those bullets back in the mag. Once you've dumped the entire mag of a Redline into any enemy, you can either switch to the Unforgiven for a crit swap, or you can just reload. You definitely don't have to crit swap to make this thing work. It just does more damage if you want to do that. Stuck cryojets are the way, by the way. There's 2 firing modes for this gun. There's impact, not that good, and if you switch to the alternate firing mode, being sticky mode, it does a ton of extra damage. Each stuck pellet does an extra 5% damage, and that stacks up really quick, which is why you can see the bosses getting absolutely melted by this thing pretty much all across the game. And I only had a cryo ×4 version, which really isn't that efficient, particularly when I took it to Wotan today, who resists cryo, by the way, and absolutely annihilated him. Now, like I said, the reason this thing is doing so much damage is because the hotfix that came out on Thursday increased this thing's damage count by 200%, which is absolutely disgusting. I don't know what the exact damage numbers were before because I hadn't had a Redline in ages, probably since like Mayhem 4, but now it does 11,400 ×4 damage, which is kind of nasty. If you guys have any bigger damage numbers, by the way, I'm not sure if this is an absolute god roll. Let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to know. I'm sure other people would as well. And it's cryo, which, like I said, really not that efficient against things like a Raveward, who is a flesh enemy, things like Wotan, who literally resists or is immune to cryo, and it shredded them anyways because I just had a corrosive ASE on, and this gun slaps that much, it really didn't like show any difference. Now a huge thing about this gun is its fire rate is crazy fast. You can just hold down the trigger and it has a little bit of a charge up speed, and then it just absolutely unleashes the entire mag. Definitely don't take your finger off the trigger, otherwise you have to wait for that annoying charge up speed again. You just dump the entire mag into somebody's crit spot and they explode instantly as soon as you reload and activate those stuck cryojets. Now as for anointment, consecutive hits is a pretty damn good one to have because you have so many of those little cryojets stacked up. You'll get a fair amount of damage out of it. Depending on what other build you guys are rocking, 100% ASE would be pretty solid. I was rocking a 3-shot fadeaway build because I wanted to proc those ASEs straight away and get that extra elemental damage, so it's a little more efficient against different enemies. But that 200% ASA for Gorillas in the Mist fadeaway build. A URAD anointment could be really strong. I don't have one of those, but that would be probably a god roll, particularly because this is mostly a bossing weapon. I wouldn't recommend it in mobbing situations. Even with Moses ammo regen, gun just dumps the mag way too quick and isn't a crowd control weapon. It just does a ton of damage against an individual enemy, so I wouldn't recommend that. But if you guys want max damage, URAD is probably the way to go because you don't really have to worry about health versing bosses. Now, as for the build that you guys are going to see in the clips, you probably already have, and probably see some more in a bit. This is my Hellwalker flak, the Terrified edition, which has some of the Terranoids in there. You really don't need those to make the build work. This is a skill tree though, if you guys want to pause it, check it out for yourselves. I'm not going to run through it in this video. You're more than welcome to check out the video from yesterday if you'd like an explanation. That'll be linked down below at the end of the video. You guys can check that one out if you need to. But yeah, like I said, this thing is an absolute monster, at least with flak and Mose. Let me know if you guys have tried this one out on Zane and Amara. I don't play those guys at the moment, but flak, I just ran in there, 3-shot fadeaway, try and get all of those stuck cryojets in one spot. The more those little explosions go off next to each other, the more damage you do, rather than spreading it all across the enemy. And then if you guys want to do maximum damage, you can switch to an Unforgiven. I had a really good one that I got from stream the other day, which is amazing, helps out the damage a lot. But again, you really don't need to. I'll have clips, if I haven't shown them already, of just reloading. You can just reload the Redline and that'll activate the stuck cryojets to make them all explode. You definitely don't need the crit swap ability, but it just makes it faster. And I even took it to my endgame Mose build that I've been working on over the last few weeks, and tried it out with her because the Redline, she was the main character that used the Redline back in the day when it was really good, back around Mayhem 4 kind of time, and it definitely still works really well. It's kind of disgusting because of course Mose does so much extra splash damage and kind of feeds off that, so the Redline is really perfect for her. You really do not need to crit swap with Mose at all. It's definitely overkill at that point. I just took it to Grave Ward and it shreds his health, particularly because she can do so much extra fire damage with Fire and Skagden, or whatever it's called, that really good ability of hers at the moment with the Mayhem scaling. Makes her do so much extra fire damage just for doing splash damage, which is all the Redline is. So if you want to shred bosses with Mose and or flak, the Redline is a really good option at the moment. And like I said, all the clips in this video are using a cryo Redline because that's all I have at the moment, which is super inefficient against every boss I versed today, which shows how disgustingly strong it is. But yeah, that is everything I have for the Redline buff from the hotfix on Thursday. Hope you guys did find this video helpful or enjoyable. If you did, don't forget to smash subscribe down below. Really helps me out. Totally free. I actually found out 90% of people that watch my videos this month aren't subscribed, so if you can help me out a ton, it does amazing things for the channel. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to help me out even more, you can smash like. Feel free to leave a comment down below if you guys are using the Redline and what you guys think of it. If you're using different Vault Hunters, I'd love to know as well. If you guys want to check out the build, it'll be linked in the end screen. Other than that, I have a Twitch that I stream to every night. I have a Discord with awesome people, and I have a Twitter. All linked down below. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. I shall see you guys in the next video and a live stream. Till then, adios.